This is the Chatter Squadron Weekly News Roundup, the best source for Star Wars news in the galaxy. Chewie, get the holonet up and running again. We don't want to miss the show.
Apartment. Troll the respawn.
Yeah, troll the respawn, Jeremy. And people are like, such a good thing.
That is great. Oh, hey, and welcome to the Weekly News Roundup.
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
very nice to see you. I'm Mike Calhoun. I'm joined by Tyler Bucks. Oh, he's over here. And Johnny Trowbridge over here.
Tyler Bucks.
And we are Chatter Squadron, your weekly dose of Star Wars fun and positivity.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and in the real world at Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019.
It continues.
We got a fun couple of things we're going to be doing there. We're going to be meeting up with a lot of people that you might know, maybe talking on different podcasts with people as well. I don't even know what's going to happen. We're just going to land because we're skydiving.
Yeah,
in
we're gonna
Apex Legends style.
Yep.
Johnny, you're the jump master.
Always.
Get us on the landing platform, please.
That's always what I do.
And we're going to drop right in, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned the interviews that we could possibly be doing. Those will all correspond with the different events that we're reacting to. And hopefully you guys will be too on the live stream and stuff. Tune in, be informed, tune into us as we explore Star Wars Celebration. It's going to be amazing. They released a floor map recently.
Yes, they
that
did.
Was very well detailed. We're going to be getting that tattooed on our backs so we can know where we're going.
We'll do a three blind mice style, and we'll just walk in front of each other.
Smart.
But the person in front will have anything to read.
Let's just walk in a circle then.
I was going to say, just walk.
Yeah, of course. That's what they did in the Three Blind Mice story, right?
Yeah,
They were like they walked into
a mice amoeba walking around.
It's like kind of what rats are like in the inner city.
Speaking of rats in the inner city, when I left the studio last week, I saw the biggest rat in the freaking world. Did you see my status about that?
Yeah, you said that.
It was the size, it was bigger than my cat, and my cat's pretty big.
There's no way.
It was the size of a baguette.
Like a real
Where?
long
Where was
it?
this
Was
rat?
long and just big. It was kind of by the foundry.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. All right, so let's get started with some of the news stories going on here.
No rats in the news. Just putting that out.
Yeah,
there.
except the rat that gave us the news. He's
Yeah,
an
I was gonna
insider.
say.
Yeah, he was leaving our studio as well, and I saw him on the street.
First thing up on the list is Dooku, Jedi Lost.
Great name.
A new audiobook that's going to be, like I said, audiobook only, actually.
It's the future, gents. No more paper.
Why are you talking in an old-timey voice?
Because it's about to be the roaring 20s.
We bring in the future with
right.
this voice.
Welcome to the 20s. The
What?
2020s.
Welcome to the 2020s. Paper is gone. If you have paper, you will be burned.
That doesn't...
With your paper.
With the paper.
If you had to make a new voice for the 2020s, what would it be?
Hey, it's me.
What is that?
It's a
A
new
new voice.
20s guy.
I can't even imagine what my 2020s voice will sound like because it's that far in the future.
I just want everything to end on a like you're asking a question.
Oh?
It will be pretty good.
Yes, that's the 2020.
I can't wait
Exactly.
for you to hear it.
Calhoun, would you like to talk about this book?
Yes.
Okay.
But honestly, yes. It's being written by Cavan Scott or Cavan Scott. He has some things to say about it on Twitter. He was the one to announce it when it when it got released in the press release. He was the one that was answering questions to the public, and he had a lot of things to say. We'll go over that in a little bit, but before we get to that, we're going to be talking about a funny story coming out of Russia where a Russian official got sworn in with Star Wars music playing.
Do you want me to jump into that right now?
You could talk about it right now if you wanted to.
So I work in a Russian company, and so I know a lot of Russians and a little bit of Ruski. But I saw this come through the pipeline, and I just wanted to highlight it for a second. So in Belgorod, in Russia, cultural director Lyudmila Grakova said, "We decided to replace the music to have something more modern, but didn't check where it was from." In a YouTube video, Mayor Yuri Godun is announced. Then the Star Wars tune blares out, and he strides to take his oath. So they go over the mistake.
So he's cool with it, seems.
There was no malicious intent. I myself insist on not having foreign content. And then this is the result. We dropped the ball.
Okay. So it seems like some sort of horrible mistake, but that usually seems like something that's intentional.
So
I know I've shared on this show that I played the Imperial March when my sister walked down the aisle for her wedding. Very, very, very funny.
So you can find it on YouTube, but basically it's just a straight on shot of, some people at a desk, and then and a guy walks out, and it's about that fast. And it just like cuts out, and then he puts his hand and starts speaking Russian.
That's ridiculous. Well, at least it wasn't like a controversial, bad theme. Like someone could say, "Oh, they did it as a joke or a statement that he's evil or some nonsense." No, it's just the normal. It was the Star Wars theme.
I thought you were gonna say like Mama said knock you out or something like that. Like just just like
that would be funny.
A bad like. Hey, we wanted something new. We didn't cross-check this,
It's
It was an
F the
accident.
police.
Rum and Coke by Snoop Dogg. I mean, I did it. How could we have known?
It's a little sad that she had to resign over that. But moving on. So we'll be talking about eventually this week in Star Wars history. That'll come up a little bit later.
Yes.
But finally, this is going to be our big story, so hang around for it. There's been a leaked Episode 9 poster, I'm putting that in quotes, air quotes, poster and character style sheet. We've seen a character style sheet in the past, but we've seen some new images here, and then we see these images again in this poster. So we're going to go over it.
Yeah, it's a lot of controversy, and a lot of people don't know if it's real. A lot of people are convinced it's fake or convinced it's real. So
Someone at this table is convinced that it may be fake.
It's our little Poe Dameron here. But no, so we're going to kind of dive into some of the facts that we know.
Sure.
In order to then say, is this real? Because at the end of the day, all we're really getting out of this, if it is real, is just a little glimpse at the movie that we haven't seen. Because we haven't seen anything. Other than that, if it's not real, all we're losing is nothing, really.
Yeah, unless you're some sort of purist that was trying to stay completely clean going into the movie, which is very hard to do in these days, so I commend you. But this is totally hashtag Episode 9 spoiler stuff.
Right.
But it's not.
That's towards the end of the episode.
Yeah, it's not going to ruin it for you. We're not going over plot details. I don't know that Poe Dameron's got an afro now and stuff like that. Nothing like that. Cool. Let's talk about Dooku Jedi Lost.
Yes, this is very exciting.
Yeah, so it's an audio-only book. It's going to be narrated, of course, it has to be, by a full cast. So it won't be like what we've experienced in a couple of the Thrawn books and the Solo book,
right?
Where a single narrator, does multiple voices for the different characters that appear in the book. This is going to be completely cast. It's going to be following Count Dooku and Asajj Ventress, and specifically, it's about Asajj uncovering how Dooku lost his way in the Jedi Order and became a Sith Lord.
Which I think is an interesting way they could go about that. I think that's
we've talked about this a couple times.
I think that's a more interesting way than just we're going to make the story about how Dooku turned evil. It's now Asajj, because I will never vote against more Asajj, but it's Asajj uncovering.
Sure.
Because I don't know if it's kind of a secret of what his Jedi dealings were back in the day or whatever, and now she's trying to dig up dirt on him or something like that. But from the cover that we see Dooku with a blue lightsaber. It's his curved hilt, you can tell. And then we see Asajj with her red lightsabers. So my little tidbit on that is that when she leaves Dooku and goes out on her own, she finds one yellow lightsaber. So this is going to be following Asajj when she's still his apprentice.
Very likely, yes.
So sort of a Vader with Star Killer type deal of uncovering dirt behind his back. I'm going to take a guess.
I'm excited because upon reading Thrawn Alliances, I got to feel the Clone Wars again. only in a more intimate way. And I liked it because I liked basically it was the exact same Anakin. Basically,
It was crazy how good they wrote Anakin to feel exactly like he was in the Clone
Agreed.
Wars.
And I'm very, very close to the end. Just a couple chapters left, and so we'll be able to talk about Throne Alliances soon. But right now, we're talking about, excuse me, Dooku Jedi Lost. And what were you about to say?
It's going to be available April 30th. So
Good.
pretty soon here.
Very soon.
That's
and
good.
because it's an audio only book basically. I don't even know if it would be called a book. It's an audio book.
They call
first
it,
and foremost.
They call it an audio play.
Yes.
And in the Twitter responses that Cavan Scott gave, he said it's an audio only book a la a radio play. It's just
Right.
because kids these days don't know what a friggin' radio play is. So
Yeah.
if they said Star Wars has released a radio play, the first Facebook comment is going to be, what is this, 1956?
Right.
And it'll be like met with negative, because that's just how you people are. You're all negative. I'm kidding. All right, cool. So
That's a quick turnaround.
Cavan Scott said this on Twitter.
This is very interesting to me.
Yeah, and this is important as to what this is important, and it leads into the question I want to ask you guys. He says, it has to be said, there was many a conversation between Claudia Gray and me when she was writing Master and Apprentice, and I, Jedi Lost. So that seems obvious to most people that are writing media for something as big as Star Wars. But this is extremely important, obviously.
Because he's making it, hey, just an FYI, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Someone's writing a book about Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and I'm writing this book about Dooku's past,
Exactly.
and we're talking a lot. We talked a lot when we were writing it. So I want to see some crossover. I want to see some major crossover.
I mean, it's Star Wars. We have to.
But to the point where something happens in a Master and Apprentice and you see it from their point of view, and something happens in Jedi Lost and you see it from Dooku's point of view.
I don't know. I feel less inclined that there will be a direct reference or crossover situation. I feel more so that it's just inevitable.
Yep.
When you're writing something that takes place within a certain time period that might overlap, maybe not overlap, but just you have a character that is heavily involved in the lives of other characters that another person's writing a book about. That has to be discussed. You're gonna have to go to them and be like, "Hey, I have this. I have them going to this planet. I have them saying this to this person.
Right.
This is the interaction. How many years has it been since they?
I feel like this is more of a different tone than just tactical. Hey, what are you doing? This I don't want to step on that. This feels more like a collaboration type post. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Unless it's not a response to anything directly. He may have been saying it as that way of like, hey, for people concerned that these books are going to contradict each other, just so you know, we were talking the whole time. Or it's, I want people to get excited about this. And a way I'm going to do that is by saying this book and my book are going to be very, not similar, but very connected in the plot in a way.
Okay, that being said, let me ask you guys a question
Ask
about
it.
this. Will it be harder and harder to find writers willing to do anthology stories as the universe fills up with inserted plot lines such as these?
I don't think I don't think so.
Okay.
Just because I feel like if you're going to be writing a Star Wars book, it's going to be difficult anyway with just having to deal with canon in general.
Okay.
But also, if you're at that high of a level, I feel like you would be able to work with what you got. Do you know what I mean? I like
Yeah, if you're talented enough.
the curveballs they would be getting thrown aren't as tough, I would say, at that level. That's
What are your thoughts,
That's
Johnny?
what I would think.
I think that the people in charge of Star Wars understood that very well. That's why they're letting people like D.B. Weiss and Taika Waititi and all them make things that are outside of the normal realm. That way, there's lots more gaps to fill in.
Okay. Yeah, so you're right. If they stretch the timeline and they spread out the different media that's being created like at a similar pace, then there won't be risk of contradiction.
Or even the fact that they're going to other places. It's like, okay, well now we don't have to make it in this one place or at this certain time, especially because It's Ryan Johnson who's doing something that's like not connected to anything.
Yeah, that's what he said. Is it's not connected to the standard Skywalker story.
So there you go.
Right.
Well, this isn't even connected to the Skywalker story, technically.
Well, I mean, you're right.
I think he's saying Skywalker story in the sense of like the standard Star Wars canon that we know. Because he was saying, Ryan Johnson was saying all new people, all new characters, all new places. It was weird for him to say that.
That seems strange.
Yeah, but I mean, we covered it in the past.
They don't even have lightsabers. There's the Force.
I did
By the way, I'm making my own new universe, and it's going to be great.
It's called Star Trek. No.
I did a whole thing about it. I forget what episode it was, but I did a whole write-up for this show about what it could be, what not covering characters we don't know what that means and places we don't know what that means. So.
Well, we even flirted with the idea that his trilogy would be an Old Republic story,
right?
Before there was any news about D.B. Weiss and David Benioff. But now that we're getting more information, so we can feel more confident about that. I personally think that it's going to be harder and harder, even with these with the Star Wars story group. I think it's going to be harder and harder to find writers, good writers, willing to make these little anthology stories, because it's just going to be a tighter and tighter window. It's inevitable. It's just like the expanded universe.
Yeah.
And the only thing we can hope for is that they manage it well. The expanded universe didn't have a story group. At least I don't know. I don't think they did. Perhaps they had to have had some people that were like guarding the library of what was canon or what was concrete. What's the bedrock of Star Wars, and then work from there. I mean, that's kind of what we have now, fortunately. And I just think they're gonna ask people to, hey, you want to come on and finally do this Obi-Wan thing, and people will be like, well, actually no, Obi-Wan seems a little bit easier to do. But say we want to expand on Asajj further.
Yeah.
Let's say we want to do a whole
expand
Asajj
on Ben Quadraneros
or
Vader.
Quinlan Vos. We have one book involving Quinlan Vos, but what if we want to go in between the Quinlan and Asajj and this story, and we want to do a Quinlan Asajj story in between? It could be really tough to balance those things. That's a lot of reading, but writers are good at two things: reading and writing. So we can hope that they'd familiarize themselves with the content.
Honestly, I think what they'll do is, because you're right, if you're a writer, you want to write your own story. You don't want to, I mean, it's not very alluring to be like, all right, here you go, just do it within all these parameters.
Yeah, exactly. Here, we already have your structure. Here you go, write it. And be like, no, of course not.
Which is why I think you were resisting Tyler saying they were going to combine the story, because the guy doesn't want to write, Apprentice and Master and Apprentice Part 2.
No.
He wants to write his own thing. And so I think maybe even what they'll do is just, like every, 20 years, Disney will come by and be like, all right, it's all on canon again, or something like that.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
I mean, I don't know.
They'll sell it to Comcast or whoever gets bigger than Disney. Literally
something will happen where the stuff that's being written now will not be canon if Star Wars still exists.
Yeah. The future and how could Star Wars possibly, quote unquote, end is a strange future that we have not envisioned.
Well, it doesn't really matter because Star Wars already is dead.
You're right. It is dead.
Oh, I forgot.
Every time a movie comes out, and somebody doesn't like it, it kills Star Wars.
The movie's dead.
So
that's so crazy. It died so many times.
It dies pretty much every year.
Speaking
it dies and resurrects. This week in Star Wars history. Let's move on. Thank you, the Battlefront. March 20th
on Facebook.
March 26th, 2002, LucasArts releases Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast for PC. Did you play that one, Johnny?
Yes.
Yeah?
Several times.
Several times?
Several times.
So is that
3 times.
3 times.
3
you
times.
beat it 3 times.
That's right.
2002. That's pretty early. You would have
it
been
was
11.
Not very many polygons on that puppy.
On that puppy.
That was a good game, though.
March 27th, 1985. Billy D. Williams gets a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well deserved.
Very
Yes.
well deserved.
And then who got Mark Hamill recently was one of the recent Star Wars alumni who got their star. Who would be next?
I'm trying to think of who doesn't have one right now.
Does Warwick have one?
I think Warwick Davis does have one.
I think he
I
does.
feel like I remember him having
Warwick's been in a lot of media.
Yes.
Right.
A ton of media.
He's probably got those
and
little...
while Tyler looks up the
might have
prospects
2.
of the next Star Wars star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, comes 1981, March 31st, in which Empire Strikes Back wins an Academy Award for Best Sound and a Special Achievement Award in Visual Effects.
And we covered that in our Star Wars and the Oscars episode, I think a couple months ago at this point. And no, Warwick Davis does not have a Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame.
Well,
That's-
then
that's a
he would be
crime.
my nominee for. So the
Get him a star. Get him a star. You can keep
it's
talking.
actually quite simple
him
to
a
get
star.
a star.
Just $40,000.
Well, you need to have. Yeah, it basically has to be nominated by a fan. I think it's a fan group.
Yeah.
Like he has to have his own fan.
What is that called?
Let's start it.
I don't. What is this a specific word for it? But anyway, they have to raise a certain amount of money to lobby the Academy or whatever. Whoever's in charge. And then
Or you get a cement group, and they come out there and just pour it.
and then
That's
there's
it.
also-
I've done it all over Akron. My name in
Is
life.
that why we have so
Ace.
many like potholes and stuff? It's just like big
'Cause it's in
bumps.
charge.
I gotta
You're in
take it
charge.
from somewhere.
It's like
It's not like a new generation. It's a recycling thing.
I'm gonna start a company called Road Grafts, where I take parts of road out of face. They don't need it
Yeah,
here.
this is an unused road.
Yeah, and then we just regraft the
It's-
road.
I honestly
That's
can't
awful.
think of that. A group of fans.
Fandom
No,
No,
but it's like
a specific.
support group.
yeah.
yeah, it's like their
It's
fan
making-
club. Fan club.
Fan club. It's fan club.
Fan club.
It's like a club of people who are fans. But no, you have to have a fan club, and the fan club has to nominate you, and they have to raise a specific amount of funds in order to make sure that it will be maintained on the
Yes.
Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I
Precisely.
believe is $40,000 upfront, all in pennies. They melt
Gross.
that all down
And
and,
then
they
they put
make
it-
it
yeah.
into the thing.
Yeah.
But
That's
no,
what the copper is.
So, but yeah, 1981. Good job, Empire Strikes Back. You guys did it.
Thanks for that. Thanks for coming back to that. We're finally on our last story.
Oh my gosh,
the
it's
one
been
you've all been waiting
46
for.
years.
Passing through the magnetic field.
The leaked poster.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm just going to
I was checking the time. That's
run through it really quick. So the poster kind of came about last week, where it just started getting shared around.
It started on Reddit.
Yeah, I looked into it. It started on Reddit, the Star Wars Leaks Reddit. Basically, we see Rey, Chewbacca, a couple new characters. We see
Before you do, just start listing things. I actually have a list of things that are on. I've listed all the things, and it leads up to the one that's the most talked about. The most,
Yes.
And you may have already seen it. You may have already talked about it. But so in this poster, we
Yep.
obviously see Rey. We see Finn. We see Poe. We see the Knights of Ren.
Yes,
We're gonna
we
come
do.
back to that. We see BB-8. We see BB-8's little friend, the smaller droid that's
BB-7.
been mentioned. We see Chewbacca, of course. We see Kylo Ren. We'll come back to that too. He's
Yep.
wearing some interesting things. The Millennium Falcon, a pink Y-wing, a blue A-wing, an orange X-wing.
Bo Dameron's new thing.
you have a flow to this. Can I
Yeah.
give you a beat?
Sure.
Okay.
A triangle-shaped TIE fighter, not the TIE Phantom. Stormtroopers, as we've seen before. Red Stormtroopers. New characters, one named Zori and the other named Janna. an unnamed alien creature that we've seen before as well. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we see C-3PO. That was excellent, by the way. Holding Chewbacca's bowcaster. What?
With
The
sash.
bandolier.
Yeah.
Going across him.
You probably didn't recognize me because
Johnny
of my bowcaster.
Is displeased.
It was the one reason I thought it was a fan thing. I was like, that looks dumb.
It's formatted in a way that looks like a real poster. It's got new poses of characters we haven't seen with old hairstyles, new costumes. This has now it's not a very good resolution, and it's not even the greatest composition. Some things are kind of separated just kind of vaguely. There's like there's just things in areas that don't necessarily feel like they're final anyway.
Right.
So that leads me to believe, being in a media production profession, this looks like what I would make or what a Photoshop artist would make as a template for something that they need to make later. Like if they don't have the final images rendered or made or photographed, they'll put in stand-ins just for size reference, composition reference, layout, and this will be just like a suggestion. This is what this person will look like at this stage, or replace this image when. They'll have notes and stuff. So this looks like it really is a leaked poster.
So here,
But
here's
Johnny doesn't think so.
No.
Johnny thinks otherwise.
Where's the thing that says Star Wars : the best one?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, that's a fair point.
That's a good point. How now people are already jumping on this isn't going to be good because they haven't put the tagline "the best one" yet.
Yeah,
it's
why
not-
haven't they done that?
But no. So here's some of the things that I want to point out because you brought up what Kylo was wearing. Kylo is wearing his helmet again, and his helmet is cracked and broken and shattered, basically, and then put back together.
Which
Not
we
actually
remember.
Kylo.
Oh, okay.
And
Finn.
playing a spoof on everybody.
Spoofing
It's
us.
Rey dressed up like Kylo. She picked up his helmet on the way out.
He's holding his lightsaber backwards.
Yep. He's going to get a lot of points in that French league.
Johnny's a big fan
I'm a
of
big
the
old fan of backwards, although it probably is a bad idea with those cross guards.
He's getting dangerously close to his hand with those cross guards.
we see,
not a good idea,
like you
Kylo.
said, the Knights of Ren, and basically, here's what I think: the problem with any type of picture that we get that is just like that on Reddit or whatever it might be. There's a high level of this is probably not real.
Sure.
Anytime
Sure.
we don't get something straight from the source, of course, there's a good point that okay, just because you found this off the side of the road, it's not a real thing.
Right.
But here's some of the things that I think give it a lot of merit. We're seeing characters in costumes that we know they are wearing. We've seen
We know they will be wearing.
right. We've seen which you have on the dock here, that leaked image of a bunch of the characters, just kind of the stand-in, probably.
Yeah, it's something we haven't even been able to talk about yet.
Probably. What's that when you're taking pictures so that they will always look the same?
Continuity.
Continuity pictures. So there's a bunch of those that we've seen a long time ago.
Sure.
Plus pictures of Finn and Poe with those horses.
Yep.
On the side of the hill, dressed in these same outfits. So we know that those are real. So the biggest thing for me is we're seeing a lot of these characters in different poses that we don't see in other leaks.
No.
So if this was a fake, someone would have either had to get even more leaks in order to pull them and make this, this poster out of them.
Right.
Or they would have had to draw up or
Yeah.
make caricatures of these characters
Yeah.
in their new costumes and new garb and then place them in this. So it would be a whole lot of work. So
For instance, one of the characters, Zori, which has a helmet and a purple-ish silvery outfit, That is supposedly Carrie Russell's character.
Right. She said recently that her outfit in the movie is going to be very cool.
Yeah. She said something. She described it with certain language, which was basically confirmed by this. The helmet. Someone described it before the leak actually occurred as a Olympic bicycle helmet, which is like a longer, like aerodynamic. It's kind of
Well,
similar.
it reminds me of
Talizora Noraya from the
Correct.
Normandy
Correct.
Mass Effect.
Yeah, but also the jetpack superhero. What was
Rocket Man?
Rocketeer.
Oh, the Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer,
Rocket
the
Man,
gold,
Rocket-
the gold helmet that like went back to a point.
Yep, and that's how he steered.
And she kind of
So
has.
cool.
Oh yeah, that was a great movie. She kind of has a Sam Wessel feel as well.
Yes, I agree. Well, my point is with her character is we've got individual photos that have also been leaked, and she's standing in a completely different position. These are pretty low resolution images, but you can still very clearly see that this is John Boyega in a new costume with
Right.
new pants. And then other pieces of evidence that lead to this being totally legitimate is I first read about this on the AV Club, which is a big pop culture news site.
Right.
And the headline was that leaked poster is totally real. And I read the whole thing and then moved on and read more things.
Right.
Only to come back to link it to our news site, our news page so we could talk about it, and they deleted it. They deleted that page within 6 hours. Same day. So that gets you thinking. These other lowly sites that are kind of unmanageable, they might be on the outer rim of the website.
I like that verbiage.
Yeah, exactly. Of like jurisdictions for other big corporations, but something like the AV Club, if somebody calls up and says, "Hey, we can't be posting this stuff. This is like a leak. This is legal trouble we could run into. Take it down." Boom, they'll take it down
Or
immediately.
it was a lie and they had to take it out for that reason.
That is also a
But
possibility.
I'm-
That's
I'm-
also a possibility.
I'm-
they
this-
would have though issued what news sites do now, because they like to make money, is they'll leave the page up, but they'll put an update at the top that says this has been confirmed or this has been disproven by XYZ.
Yeah.
We apologize, but they'll keep it there because they need the money.
But maybe
need the
they
clicks.
can't say this is disproven because it would be infringing. They can't say why
That's
it's wrong.
also a possibility.
So this reminds me of a story that I think I'm far enough away in time that I can bring up. So do you guys remember back around when The Last Jedi came out and those pictures surfaced of Snoke kind of straight on in a white room, just his face, basically his bust, and then like the pictures of Luke leaked and he's just also in a white room and there's like X's where people are standing, and same thing with Adam Driver. There's pictures of him, just nothing done up, just doing poses with an X on the floor in a white room. The site I am still basically a part of, which I won't name here, we were the ones who got that and leaked it. And we were the ones who got an email from a specific company saying, you need to take that down right now. And we did.
Wow.
To the point where our site crashed.
Wow.
Because people were jumping to look at it over and over. We had like thousands of clicks on the post.
Incredible.
And then just a huge span of comments saying, I clicked on this, the pictures are gone, the pictures, blah, blah. And, we had to say, we
had to take it down.
We had to take it down.
Wow. You've never shared that before.
I know, because it was pretty weird. The Last
I'm
Jedi
sure
was
that
pretty
was scary.
nearby. It was very scary. It was very exciting, then very scary immediately. But that's something that happens all the time. And it very much is a email, because I can't remember what they said in the email, but it was very much an email just like, hey, take it down, like now.
Right.
And we did, and nothing else came from it. But that's maybe what happened with the AV Club is like,
That's very-
hey,
yeah.
this is being spread around. We don't care if this person is this, but you guys, we've already talked to you about something. You know what I mean? Just take it down. And they probably didn't even have to say why.
Right.
Just
the
take
moment
it down.
They receive an email.
So AV Club probably couldn't even say like, we took it down because
You're right.
we took it down because we got several emails and we immediately dropped it. So, but no, that reminds me of a story. That's something that I've experienced firsthand. But I think the credence you were saying about a bunch of other sites posting it, you gave good evidence towards that, because it's true. A lot of other sites can be posting this, and we have this discussion going on. Is this real? Is this not? And that just drives it, because it's like, oh, well, Lucasfilm didn't do this. Sure, so-and-so posted that it's real, but, it's not. Or it is. Who knows? But until like bigger, like What Culture or like whatever, other sites, until big people start saying this, then it actually draws the ire of the all-seeing eye of Mickey.
It's also reinforced by the consistency. We see the same outfits with similar like accents of like for instance, I'll say Kylo Ren's cracked helmet. Mm-hmm. Some parts of the cracked helmet are repaired with like a red lining, almost glowing red, and then other parts are lined with silver and stuff. And then there's a separate image of that in a leaked spread of images.
Yep.
That lines up identically,
exactly,
with the imperfections in his helmet,
and it's a completely different from the first leaked image we have to the poster.
Right.
Completely different lighting, different angle, different position.
We've got images of Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams in his Lando costume. We've got two images of that,
but he's not on the poster.
He's not on the poster,
right?
Yeah. Separate images, but in it he's wearing something very reminiscent of Solo.
Yes,
which I appreciated greatly.
So let's kind of wrap this up, because I want to go to what some of the people are saying on our Facebook page. I put out the question: do you think this poster is real? Yes or no? I'm going to go to first the yeses and nos. We have 39 no's and 6 yeses so far. So if that kind of tells you the public perception of what this is, that's kind of where we're at. Jacob, and this is someone after Johnny's heart, Jacob McClearen says C-3PO with a bowcaster, fake.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That was something that was talked about on MakingStarWars.net back in February, though. It wasn't just a leaked image, though. It was like it was a different instance where someone's like, yeah, something about C-3PO with a bowcaster.
Yep.
And everyone thought that was, okay, so this is clearly nonsense.
Connor Bradley says, I highly doubt C-3PO will be rocking a bowcaster weapon. Ha 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 ha. Here's what we brought up before. Tanner Lowry says, it's confirmed to be fake by at least one official person, Mark Hamill. Did we talk about that at all?
I'm about to right now.
Go for it.
His official, when someone brought it up to Mark on Twitter, his official response was, doubtful, looks like the work of a hashtag UPF, UPF being ultra passionate fan. But we just disputed that by how did this ultra passionate fan acquire these very, very specific images that only have similarities to other confirmed leaks.
And something else too, we don't know how connected Mark Hamill is to this production.
Yeah, and also like, what's his I don't know, motivation to say yay or nay at all? I mean,
Chris Ryan says, I mean, it's real, just maybe not the theatrical poster. And Chris Ryan's is from our good friends at Bro Axiom. So go ahead, check them out. But no, that's a good thing too. We're looking at a poster. Who knows what this poster is for? There's so many different posters for every Star Wars movie. This could be just a Target exclusive or whatever. Sure. And it's like, oh, this one's cool because it has that weird little alien fat guy on it. You know what I mean? Like, he's fat.
Okay, geez.
I'm sorry.
Another person that was brought up, or another thing that was brought up on Twitter was someone shouted out to John Boyega, who's been living it up the last few weeks. His parts are all filmed up, so he's just gearing up for the release. Getting excited, probably for Celebration. We might see him. Who knows? but he was asked about his pants on Twitter. His pants being the pants that he's wearing in this leaked photo.
Yeah, not just his normal pants.
Yeah, because in this leaked photo, he looks very Han Solo-esque. There you go. And he straight up said, yeah, I do look Han Solo-esque, and I felt like it too. He didn't say those words, but that's basically the way he addressed someone bringing it up to him. They're like, hey, what do you think about this image? You're really rocking that Han Solo look. And he's like, I couldn't resist, blah, blah, blah. He just kind of nonchalant went along with it.
I'm sorry to cut in. Can you look at the poster one more time so I'm not crazy?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm looking at it closely right now. C-3PO has the bowcaster and the Wookiee thingamablob as well. But look at his right shoulder.
Oh, that crazy alien?
But no.
Oh.
Right here. That looks like Rey's staff.
Yeah, he is holding. He's got it over his shoulder.
Oh,
as well.
I know what
He's
it
got
is.
Rey's staff.
They're off. They're going swimming, and he's just holding the stuff for him.
I seriously think they might be doing something and just pile the stuff onto him like he's a coat rack.
Oh, I'm sure. Come on.
And then that's so easy to put on posters and stuff.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
Just like
probably what it is.
Just like with Rey with Kylo's lightsaber for 3 seconds. Like, did she turn evil? No, she just had it for literally 3 seconds in the movie. What you saw in that poster or in the trailer, that's all that happens. And this might be that thing too, that they literally just throw things. There might be even more stuff. He might get Lando's scarf. You know,
right.
They might just pile things onto him.
What if we made a poster of the Return of the Jedi, and it was a bunch of cool stuff, and then suddenly C-3PO floating in the air in a chair?
Yeah.
People would be like, this is stupid and unrealistic and couldn't possibly happen.
Right.
And
yeah. And then here, I'll say one more. Aki Tsi says, it is real. MSW, which is making Star Wars, confirmed it. It's a retail poster that may or may not make the final cut. A little research can go a long way, which is true. But once again, I just want to give
that's a little condescending, friend.
I know, but that's why I want to give a little bit of like leeway to people because while we're giving a lot of concrete evidence to why this could be real, once again, it is still just a random leak on Reddit.
Exactly.
So who knows? We may not even get a lot of this confirmed because as time goes on, that a lot of this might change or this poster may never be released, even if it was real at one point.
All I can say is that I'm actually kind of glad that it was leaked so close to when we're about to see a teaser because it'd be a little bit hard to wait extra long to celebration to actually get these confirmed.
I want to say a couple more. Alana Hendrickson on the Star Wars Hub group because they're very vocal on that group.
Yeah, of course.
Just says doubtful.
Good.
It's good. Just weigh in a little bit. But,
Doubtful.
Steve Lewis says, I wonder if this was made for April Fools.
Probably is.
It's not ridiculous enough.
I know.
They would have had to make C-3PO
the
center
centerpiece.
stage. And yeah. That would have been beautiful.
Stabbing Kylo in the back.
And you know they would have got Anthony Daniels in on it.
And
he would have done a joint.
It's called He would have done a joint. It's called Star Wars C-3PO's Revenge.
Oh, first of all, that's a great title. And second of all, I hope it's real. All right, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks again for joining us. You can follow us on all the social platforms and, of course, watch us on Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to be the tiny king/queen of the tiny chair of tiny victories, all you have to do is destroy the previous captor, I guess you could say. But right now there is none. So it's free. It's open. It's for the taking.
And
the crown is yours.
All you need to do is give us a 5-star rating or a review on iTunes, or you can do that on our Facebook as well. And then you'll be on the set here, and we'll read what you say, and I'll touch it every once in a while.
Yeah, and we'll look at it longingly.
Yeah. I mean, I wake up every morning and take a look at it.
Oh.
All right, you guys want to go watch episode 9 early again?
Oh, yeah.
Again?
I love that
All
one
right.
part.
Me too.
When I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, it's not.
We're doomed.